Hello, everybody. So today I want to refilm the story about my adoption, the adoption of my son, my experience with adoption. This is a heavy story. I filmed it twice before. The first time I feel like I didn't get all out what I wanted to say. The second time I accidentally labeled it as something else before, and it was up for like a day or two before I realized, so I deleted it because it was under the wrong title, and I just felt, I don't know, when I rewatched it, I felt like I didn't get all out what I wanted to say either. So, my experience with adoption, the first time I experienced adoption was my sister. My sister gave her three of her children, up for adoption. The first time she did, her youngest child was born in prison, addicted to drugs. And she pretty much had another woman raising him from the beginning of his life. And he still lives with her now, as far as I know. And then her two middle children, she also gave up for adoption. They're doing very well now. They're all well adjusted in their homes. They're all happy. And that was my first experience with adoption. Now, my experience, my personal story with adoption, I was 27 years old when I found out I was pregnant. My first two children were from, I was 20 years old. I was married. I was with my husband, and we split up. I went back to Alaska, and as far as I know, I was never coming back down here again. And I slept with somebody else, consequently got pregnant with his child, came back down here, told my husband everything that I had done, and he still accepted me and wanted to be with me, and he raised my son with me. So he was, there from the beginning. And then right after my son was born, less than a year later, my daughter was born. About 11 months later, my daughter was born. Our daughter, me and him. So we raised those two children together. And, we split up early in their life. And due to bad choices that I made and things that I did wrong in my life, I met some bad people. I met a person who was more interested in partying and doing drugs than anything else. That was his world. And that's how I knew him, because I was also doing drugs. I was also partying. I was not being responsible. I was being a total piece of shit, and I was just partying my life away because I was in so much pain internally that I didn't know how to process, and I was too scared to ask for help. I was too scared and too ashamed to say, hey, I'm struggling, which I advise anyone in the same situation, please ask for help. Please get help before you let yourself go down a road that you don't belong on. I'm a mother. I shouldn't have gone down this road, but you know what? People fuck up and people learn, and that's how we get through life. And I don't do those things anymore. I'm a completely different person. But at the time, I was taking Xanax, and I was prescribed Xanax from a doctor. But I did not know how Xanax reacted with my body. I didn't know how my mind, I didn't know how I functioned on it, because I'd never been on those types of medications before. And my experience on Xanax is no memory. All memory of everything I did, gone. Like everything. I can't for the life of me remember anything from when I took Xanax. It's like almost like you get little snippets of visions. It's almost like when you're remembering a dream. It's almost that same sensation as taking Xanax, for me, at least. And so during this time of me being on Xanax, I met this guy who was also taking Xanax. And so we ended up having sex, being together for like a month, maybe. We had sex a few times. And then I never seen him again, ever. I went to Alaska to visit my son and my family and found out I was pregnant. My initial reaction was shock. Because I was in denial. I was scared. Because if you don't, for me personally, if you have children that you already don't have custody of, you should not have more kids. And I did exactly what I go against. I didn't have custody of my 2 children. I still don't have custody of my 2 children, but I'm in their lives daily. But I legally do not have custody. On paper, I'm not allowed to have them. Like, they're not mine on paper. And that's from my own shit. That's from my own past. But I'm rectifying that right now. I'm going through the process of gaining them back and gaining back legal and physical rights to my children, as I should. I learned from my past mistakes, and I'm, making changes to be better, and I am better. So, but with Briar, I just knew that I couldn't do it alone. I just know that I couldn't. I don't have the temperament and the patience and the emotional availability to be that type of mother. Like, I wish that I could with all my being, but from past traumas, and I've gone over this in therapy, and my sister suffers from this as well. And this is not like a blame thing. This is just like me trying to pick apart why I am the way I am. I have a hard time showing emotional, physical love. Because my mom, she never, it was never a thing in my family where we never like hugged each other. We never, and as much as you think that wouldn't affect somebody, when you are a child, you need physical contact. You need to be touched and hugged and told that you're loved and appreciated and wanted. Otherwise, you end up getting these feelings that you're anything but those things. And so I grew up with a complex of just keeping everybody arm's distance to keep myself from being hurt. And that carried on into my parenting style. Although I'm very aware of how much I don't show love, like I am very aware, like if I go a whole day and I don't hug my daughter, I'm very aware of that. And so I make very conscious effort to show physical contact and show that I love her, just more than just saying I love you, because I know that is very important. And so with Briar, my son, the one I put up for adoption, the way it happened, okay, that's, I find out I'm pregnant, and then what happens after that? Well, I go 5 months trying to make up my mind what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to give him up for adoption, whether I'm going to keep him. Some months I would play with the fact of, oh my God, I'm going to have a baby, and this is going to be a whole new start, and then I can, get my other kids back. And then I would swing from that to, there's no way I can do this. I can't even take care of myself. Like, I can't even, it was such a hard thing, because I don't know what I would do without my ex-husband being there to help me with my daughter. And I have no problems admitting that, that those things scared me and those things worried me. And I know that I wasn't strong enough at the time. And so I contacted an adoption agency in California over the internet. And I got sent packets of different families, of where they live, everything about their life, where they went to school, all this stuff. And then I picked out a family. It was between 2 families. And then I talked on the phone with them. And I kind of got a feeling of who they were and what they wanted out of life. And I ended up going with the family who was closest to me. And from the get-go, I wanted an open adoption. I wanted my son to know who I am. I wanted him to know that he has a brother and a sister. I wanted him to know that I did not give him up because I didn't love him. I wanted him to know that I gave him up because I do love him and I want him a good life. I want him to have a chance that he wouldn't have got if he would have stayed with me, and I know that wholeheartedly. So I go through the process and I meet his adopted parents. They are the most wonderful, kind-hearted people I've ever met in my life. And when I met them, there were so many parallels in our life that it just felt like this was meant to be. It felt like I was having a baby for them. That's what it felt like. And that's what it will always feel like. It will feel like that I was a surrogate and he was meant to be with them. Because his family now, he's got 9 cousins and they all look alike, him included. They're all little redhead blonde, like strawberry blonde hair. They all look alike, and it feels so good to know that they are happy. He's happy. He's always going to be happy. And we have an open relationship where I talk to his parents. I'm allowed to go up there once a year. They told me that I'm allowed to go up there anytime I want, but I kind of want to keep it once a year until he gets older, and then he can make the choice whether he wants me in his life or not. I don't want to impose. The whole time I was pregnant, I tried not to bond, so that it would be easier to kind of cut that cord when the time came. She was in the delivery room with me when he was born. She cut the umbilical cord. And she, right after he was born, she did the skin-to-skin contact, and she bonded with him immediately after he was born. So there's not anything that I experienced that she didn't experience besides the pregnancy. Which, you know, the pregnancy is the hardest part. You know, making a child, at least, you know what I mean. Of course, raising a child is much harder than being pregnant, but everybody's happy. We're all so thankful and grateful for Briar, and I want to show you guys a picture of him real quick. This was him. He was, I'd say, 7 months old in this picture, 6 or 7 months old. But that's him. His name is Briar Austin. We all 3 came up with the name together. At least Briar. Austin was their idea. And so, yeah, it's almost like my family just expanded. You know, it's not like, here's my kid, see you later, never see me again. It's more like, welcome to my family. Our family just got bigger and more people to love. You know, it's wonderful. I advise people, to just look at these things with open hearts and open eyes, you know, and open minds, because it really does take a lot of people to make a good person, and you really can't get anywhere in life on your own, and you'd be stupid to say that you could. Nobody can. We are people of innate wanting to be together, wanting to be a part of a people that understand and love us. And I'm just happy that they're now part of my family, and you know, it's great. So that's my story on adoption. If you guys have any questions or just anything you want to say, go ahead and leave a comment, like and subscribe if you like my videos, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.